Hi everyone. So today I'll be dealing with the topic say no to drugs. So I had a second session in the Anganwadi a few days back and I dealt with this topic. I couldn't take a second part for the first topic which I dealt there, which was gender equality among the heterosexuals. It's actually been quite a long time since I've posted something. So I thought of doing this today. And I also found out that I have a state which is called procrastination, which basically means you do stuff, you're not lazy, you do stuff, but you do stuff which are less important to you. For example, you can take me as an example. I have exams in 2 days, but I'm doing this video, which is much less important than my exams. But yeah, so that's my state. So I'm doing this video. Well, first of all, I want to wish everyone a very happy New Year and a very belated Merry Christmas, maybe. Yeah. So I'll start with the session, but before that, I had comparatively less number of students for this session than the other, but it went effectively, and I think it's a very relevant topic nowadays, especially when we're nearing to New Year. As usual, I never jumped into the technical sides of a topic. I just discussed the main points which I know and generally everyone knows, but I just made the points more clear for them to understand. I took the class in my native, which is Malayalam, but it went well because the children were about 14, 15 and 16 years. So it was nice. And I also mixed a lot of examples connecting movies and connecting relevant stuff which is happening around in our society. So it went well. So I'll jump right into the topic without boring. So I started the topic by giving an example, by giving the students a circumstance wherein a person gives a prescription, a doctor's prescription to a medical shop owner, and the person gives you the medicines according to the prescription. So I asked them, why is the prescription important in such cases? So the students were quite aware of this and they were like, yeah, because drugs are the basic element of medicines. So since you're using these drugs as medicines, it is important to have a doctor's prescription for for using them. So that's what they gave. So like I started with that, but that was the reason. So this is actually quite a very common thing which happens in our society. In our neighborhood, doctor's prescription is compulsory for giving a medicine. So the example went well, and I moved on by talking about the Malayalam movies generally. I started with alcoholism as it is very common in Malayalam cinema. So I started off with the classic father who comes as a drunkard and then beats his wife and children. So that was a very much relatable character. So the students or the children, they could grasp into that, and they said their opinions. They share their experiences of watching those movies with parents and what their parents tells them about alcoholism and everything. Common as alcoholism, the same as alcoholism in our society and in our neighborhood. I started speaking about that. The first thing which comes to our mind when we think of tobacco or alcohol or maybe smoking is the advertisement, which is the anti-alcoholism and anti-smoking advertisement, which plays in the theater before a movie starts. In Malayalam, it's called Shwasakosham Sponge Poleyana. So I gave that classic ad as an example for children to think. It's actually a very relatable thing. It's a very relatable advertisement. So they could speak up. They were really brave enough to speak about such topics, and they started speaking about their experiences about of people smoking in bus stops and how people were careless about that. Smoking in public places and everything. So they started sharing their experiences and discussed about the health hazards which cause due to smoking, and also it affects the people in our surroundings than us. So this is also an important factor which people forget while they smoke. So that was also a very nice subtopic which happened. So the next thing which I talked to them about is drugs. Drugs as such, there are many drugs which are readily available now in our society, especially to teenagers and especially to the young generation. Some of them are like cocaine, LSD, meth, and etc. I don't know much of their names, but these are some of the drugs, the main drugs which are available. Even though all of these drugs have different names, the purpose of these drugs, which do to children, are making them addicts of them and then dragging them slowly to death. That is a line which is very philosophical, but in simple words, they are very bad for our health and it makes us addicts, and it also controls our emotional and physical state after a long time of usage. Also discussed with them the very first set of disadvantages and very first set of negative side of these drugs, especially with the first usage. That is, you get rashes all over your mouth and where you use them, and they also makes our body dehydrated, and it also makes us nauseous, and it's also bad for us in many other medical ways. The syringe kind of method which we use to insert drugs can also cause to a very wide set of diseases, especially HIV. Which I discussed with them was about the emotional and family problems which happen within them, which is also a main cause for children to go after drugs and certain unwanted friendships and relations. So I also gave them an example to show how the children get tired of their family and the problems which arise between parents and them, so which eventually leads them to drugs and alcoholism. So these are the main things which I discussed in the last session with the students. So I hope everyone liked it. So thank you.